All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I got an amazing one for you today. I've been itching to get on air. So just in a second, we're going to talk about conservatives go absolutely bonkers over the opening ceremony at the Olympics. It involved drag queens, and of course, they think it's anti-Christian. It's not. More on that in a minute. Then we'll get to things keep getting worse and worse for J.D. Vance. There's a lot to say about that. Tim Walz is at the top of his game, bro, and he is smacking around mainstream media hosts and making a great case to be Kamala's VP. We'll get to some polling on Trump. It does not look pretty for him at all. And then later on, I'll give you the first official look at Trump's ear after the shooting. We have a non-bandage picture of his ear from up close. And Alex Jones has a new conspiracy theory, and it's probably his most insane one yet, which is saying quite a bit because you all know how psycho that man can be. All right, so everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively, costs you nothing. And let's go ahead and dive into it. So it was a wild weekend, bro. It was a wild weekend. So let's start with this. We had an Olympics opening ceremony. Of course, the Olympics is being held in Paris, France. Now, when I started watching it, my initial reaction was, this is a little weird. I think it's a little weird. I think it's fair to call this weird. But then I realized, it dawned on me that, oh, hold on. This is the French. This is like the most French shit I've ever seen in my life. It is incredibly artsy-fartsy and like very modern. And actually, when you stop and think about it, as an American, red-blooded American, I look at it and I go, that's kind of weird. But ultimately, it really is just the most French shit of all time. Okay. So I was watching it, and then I go on Twitter, and I start scrolling through, and I don't know if I've ever seen as big of a meltdown as the right was having over this opening ceremony. Okay, so let me walk you through it. Now, I can't actually click and play you any of the videos because apparently they're being really harsh with copyright on it, but you can tell from the screenshots from the pictures roughly what it was like. There was a lot of, weird interpretive dancing and crazy costumes and drag queens and things of that nature. And this, I mean, they had a nuclear meltdown over it. So let's start with this one. Clint Russell of the Liberty Lock podcast said, "This is crazy. Opening your event by replacing Jesus and the disciples at the Last Supper with men in drag. There are 2.4 billion Christians on the earth, and apparently the Olympics wanted to declare loudly to all of them, right out of the gate, not welcome." Okay, now, this 100% was not the Last Supper, but more on that in a minute because I want to show you all the meltdowns first. Then we get to this one. "I'm not even Christian, and this is so unbelievably offensive to me." And you can see the picture here. This is from the opening ceremony. This is the Last Supper. By the way, I find it hilarious that now the right wing online has become the 2015 era social justice warrior lefties who are offended at everything. I mean, this snowflakery meter is off the charts with their reaction to this stuff. More. This is from Speaker Mike Johnson, because, the Speaker of the House has nothing better to do than bitch about an opening ceremony. He says, "Last night's mockery of the Last Supper was shocking and insulting to Christian people around the world who watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. The war on our faith and traditional values knows no bounds today, but we know that truth and virtue will always prevail. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." So in other words, this is darkness. This represents evil and hedonism and debauchery. It can't just be people dancing and having fun, because that's not a thing. It's not a thing. Okay, more. Marco Rubio. "In the last time, there will be scoffers who live according to their own godless desires." So he's saying, again, this represents the godless. And by the way, in the last times, he's saying we're close to end times. We're close to the rapture, the apocalypse, Armageddon. I find it hilarious. We get a new story every other day about just how devastating the scenario is with climate change and how we're marching off of a cliff as human civilization. He doesn't give a fuck about that. In fact, he pretends like it's not even real, but a bunch of drag queens dancing around somehow represents the end times and the rapture. God, these people are such babies. They are the biggest babies I've ever seen. Okay, so now, here's the first truth bomb to drop on you. It wasn't the Last Supper. The blue guy rolling around on the table was supposed to be Dionysus, the Greek god of fertility and wine. Get a grip, seriously. So this is one of the guys they were melting down over, this weird Smurf-looking ginger dude. And this is who it's supposed to be, Dionysus. Now, by the way, I looked it up, and it turns out that wasn't supposed to represent the Last Supper. It's supposed to represent the Greek Pantheon, because this is the Olympics we're talking about. They show the Greek Pantheon, the Greek gods. And no point in all their fucking meltdown, every single one on there, just absolutely losing their shit collectively. And no point did a single one of them Google and go, hey, is this really what I'm interpreting it as? Or what's the... Turns out it's not. Turns out it's not. But it doesn't matter because they'll take offense at fucking anything. I love this one. So as you can see here again is the Last Supper compared to the Greek Pantheon, which they don't realize is the Greek Pantheon. This guy says, the only reason the left stopped routinely murdering millions of people is that everyone stopped resisting. What the fuck does a bunch of people in drag around a table? What the fuck does that have to do with setting up death camps? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's not even a stretch of an argument that I could try to make for you to attempt to steelman your point before I smack it down. There is nothing there. The only reason the left stopped routinely murdering millions of people is that everyone stopped resisting. Look at the over-the-top outrage over what's just a artsy-fartsy opening ceremony. Okay, more. Here we go. Oh, God. So we got Elon here. Elon was forced to see LGBTQ people on TV and got so upset, he literally said the world was ending. Now, you guys all know Elon. This is what he does. Where's the wind blowing online? How can I hop in front of a parade and pretend like I'm a hero of right-wing freaks? Well, here we go. This person says, reject degeneracy. And he says, this was extremely disrespectful to Christians. Wait for it, guys. Again, I have a massive bomb of truth to drop on you after we talk about the stuff Elon said. Wait for it. This person says, why, again, is comparing it to the Last Supper, because doing this results in fewer dead people than if the imagery of Islam were mocked. So this is their other argument. Oh, yeah? Mock Islam. Yeah, because, the French, well known for not mocking Islam. Have we just memory hold the whole thing with the French magazine drawing Muhammad and the backlash? Or, what are we doing here? Are you guys all fucking 17 IQ? Elon responds again, Christianity has become toothless. Oh, it's toothless? So what would you like to see them do, Elon? Would you like to see some angry Christians with pitchforks, running up, lighting shit on fire, rioting over a bunch of drag queens dancing around in circles? What are we fucking talking about here? What a loser. Okay, look at this one. Eurovision 2024 versus Paris Olympics 2024. What's happening in Europe? And as you can see, the Eurovision thing, this person looks like, it's like demon Halloween costume type makeup. And Elon says, end of days vibes. Oh, is it, Elon? It's end of days vibes? Guys, computer enhance. On Elon Musk's Twitter account, computer enhance. Look at the picture of him here. You guys see the costume he's wearing in this picture? That's his Twitter picture. You guys see this? You guys see this? He's dressed as Baphomet. He's dressed in a satanic costume. Now look, unlike him, I'm not a weirdo. I don't think he's dressing in a satanic costume because he literally is satanic. I think he's doing it for whatever reason. He did it for Halloween or whatever the fuck, and he just still has that as his Twitter picture. But you cannot look at others and say, that is satanic, that is Luciferian, that is evil, that is not right. When the same fucking picture you have up on your own Twitter right this very second is you dressed in some satanic shit. You can't do that, Elon. You can't do that. That makes no sense. Oh my God, I hate this guy. Some people pretend like he's this fucking mega genius who's going to save the world. This guy, I love this one. Reject degeneracy. And it's this beheaded person wearing red, right? Holding their head. Okay. He says, this was extremely disrespectful to Christians. You absolute, colossal, legendary morons. This is supposed to be Marie Antoinette. This is supposed to represent the French Revolution. Not some satanic shit. They're in France. It's the Olympics opening ceremony. They're doing some French Revolution shit. He doesn't know that. They don't know this. They don't know this. Oh my God. More insanity. This is Barbara Bush from the Olympics opening ceremony. Turns out she's Jewish. And what does that have to do with anything? Okay, you all know what they're trying to say, right? They're trying to say, aha, see, the satanic cabal of Jews are infiltrating Western Christian society and they're trying to take it down and they're doing these displays of hedonism and debauchery and evil and they're rubbing it in our face as they go. That's what they're trying to say. I also saw people saying the like creative art director who set this whole thing up, that guy was Jewish also. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. This is fucking pure anti-Semitism. There's some artsy weirdos partaking in an Olympic opening ceremony. They're not like fucking connected to global international bankers setting up some massive conspiracy and trying to shove Christians into camps and trying to take over the world. Like, what the fuck are you babbling about, you absolute morons? She's Jewish. Who cares? Who cares? This is some Nazi shit, man. This is some Nazi shit that we're looking at here. This is my favorite of all of the universal meltdown that was happening. This is my favorite right here. So there was one part where people are convinced, oh my God, one of the dancers purposefully took their ball sack out. Look at this. So here, let me zoom in for you. So first of all, I'd like to ask the question, who was the first one who originally noticed this? Because my guess is there a really angry right-winger who was purposefully checking all of the crotches of all of the people dancing, which is a totally normal and not weird thing to do, right? Let me zoom in on all their crotches because this is so hot. I mean, disgusting. And so somebody found this, right? And they go, oh, the ball sack's out. Now, look, as a ball sack haver, what I can tell you is if I was in a position where my balls were popping out of my underwear like that, it would be incredibly painful. Dancing around, doing cartwheels and backflips and all sorts of stuff, and your ball sack is hanging out like that, that would hurt like a motherfucker, bro. Nuts are sensitive, dog. And so right away I'm going, that doesn't seem quite right. They're saying it's a ball sack. Well, what's the reality of the situation? You're not going to be surprised to learn. It wasn't a ball sack. It was a rip in his stocking or his legging or whatever the fuck you call it. You could see here because it got bigger. The rip got bigger. And the right was convinced it was a ball sack. And they were all tweeting about the non-ball sack ball sack. Guys, here's the most important point that I want you to take away from this. Here's the most important point. There's a genocide going on in Gaza right this very second. In fact, a story came out today. You have a bunch of Israelis, including Knesset members, who went to protest at one of the Israeli death camps, concentration camps, torture camps. I'm using these words very purposefully. Now, they went to go protest not to say, hey, stop torturing Palestinians, free all the innocent people. We're running a death camp here. This is beyond disturbing. This has echoes of Nazi Germany. They went to protest on the side of some Israeli soldiers who were facing some accountability because they raped a Palestinian man with an iron rod to death. They are protesting for the right to rape innocent Palestinian prisoners to death. That's what's happening right now as I talk to you. Right now. These people don't give a fuck about any of that. They don't care about the genocide in Gaza. They don't care about the total siege, which cut off food, fuel, water, and electricity to 2.3 million people. They don't care about that. They don't care about the bombing of over 30 hospitals. They don't care about the bombing and leveling of every single school in Gaza. They don't care about the attacks on UN buildings and UN workers. They don't care about the countless videos of children with their heads blown up that have been posted on social media. They don't care that we're witnessing a fucking modern day Holocaust. They don't care. They don't care. They either push it aside, don't acknowledge it, or many of these people support it. But I'm supposed to sit here and hop on the bandwagon with some fucking bullshit fake outrage over some drag queens dancing at an opening ceremony for the Olympics? Look, your moral meter is just broken, right? You got to recalibrate that shit. It is just shattered. It is broken. You're fucking jokes. You're idiots. You're morons. You're clueless. You deserve all the scorn and derision in the world for having this much of a broken view of reality. First of all, even if they were mocking Christianity, who cares? Second of all, they're fucking not, and you still think they are, and you're more angry about this than a fucking genocide in Gaza. I can't deal with these people. And finally, we'll end with some of the worst here. Look at this. This guy says, this may be putting it too crudely for some, but the picture on the left was infinitely preferable in virtually every way than the one on the right. For those of you just listening podcast style, the picture on the left is Hitler and the Nazis marching through Paris, France. This guy's saying It is preferable to have the Nazis effectively control France than have some drag queens dancing in circles. Do you realize how broken your brain has to be in order to come to that conclusion? You are saying, I prefer torture and death camps and rigid racial hierarchies. I prefer that to queer people being free. That's what you're saying. This is one of those things, it's so absurd, it's so extreme, it doesn't even need a rebuttal. I don't need to say anything. And in fact, this guy, his own right-wing followers, many of them were like, look, bro, I'm all for the meltdown over what's happening in the opening ceremony, but this goes a little bit too far, doesn't it? And he ended up deleting it. But look, some of them are letting you know, this is how we really think. This is how we really think. Nazis are preferable to free queer people dancing and having fun. And finally, for all the talk, oh, you're mocking Christianity, bro, it's not fit. Again, they're not. It's the Greek Pantheon. That's what it is. These are the same people who say you're mocking our religious imagery, and you're not allowed to do that. How many examples are there of paintings of Trump as Jesus? This has become a running theme with MAGA in the U.S., with the far right in the U.S. They will do every sort of religious imagery imaginable and make Trump God or Trump Jesus on the cross like you see here. And every single one of them fucking supports it. So again, spare me, spare me, spare me. I don't care about your outrage. I don't care. I don't care about your meltdown. I think you deserve scorn. You deserve derision. This isn't we have different opinions and we'll talk it out and we'll come to the truth. No, you guys are a bunch of fucking jokes. You have the brains of toddlers. And you're throwing a tantrum on the world stage because you don't like queer people. And again, that is more of an outrage to you than the carpet bombing of babies, which happens on a regular basis in Gaza with our money and in our name. So you can piss right off, and I'm very comfortable saying that. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.